and welcome to this month's vlog where I look at May and what May has looked like during my time in Uganda. This month has been another crazy month. I think I say this every month, but this one has been full on, but has been filled with lots of different experiences, which I'm really excited to share with you and see where God has been changing the path of where I've been working. So before we start, let me get it out of the way. I shared in last month's vlog that I was currently going through a court case, and I'm happy to say that that is now resolved and it's over. I'm really thankful for the justice system in Uganda and very thankful for the people who are around me to support me, and that we've come through the other side, and I'm feeling stronger for it. It's been a really difficult time, but I'm really glad to say that it's now over. So anyway, with that out of the way, let me talk about what this month has been like. So of course, first of all, let me talk about Lindsay, who's been my guest here in Uganda for 2 months. And well, I should really call her Teacher Lindsay. So like I said last month, we'd met with FNKD to look at potentially her partnering with them and doing some work with them in the future. This then led to an opportunity for her to start teaching in the Bachensi Children's School, in the primary school, which was amazing. She did so well. Lindsay's got a real skill of just adapting to the environment of that school setting, and I got to sit in on her classes and see how she was doing, and the relationships that she was building with the students was just amazing over just a few weeks of holiday clubs. I also got to spend a lot of time this month with our Father's House Ministries with Martin. I can't really put into words my love for Martin. I see him as a mentor, as a father figure. He facilitates and supports me so much in my life here. So to be able to work with him and see the work he does and get to be a part of that as a chaplain was really such a blessing. We did a centre day for some of the sponsorship children to talk with their guardians about what it looks like right now for in the UK to be a sponsor of a child, the financial challenges that all sides are facing with the inflation of food and housing. And that was really, really encouraging to have that time with these parents and talk them through what it's like from the Mzungu side, so from the Western person side. God has spoken to someone to facilitate that child's learning, and that's what as a charity we are doing. And I love having those conversations. I really have a heart for the sustainability of the relationship between the Mzungu and the Ugandan, and it's something that I'm working very hard in my behaviours and the conversations I have to put across a good understanding so we can build on new relationships instead of looking backwards into the challenging history we have as British people coming into Uganda. I also spent some time with Emily this month with Hope Collective as we did another back to school preparation day. This is where we went to the centre and did some packing, sorted through the children's big trunks. And especially the boys, it's smelly. They leave a lot of things in there, and for a month they're left alone, and then suddenly we find them just before they go back to school. So it's a lot of sorting out dirty clothes and cleaning them and getting them prepared for their future term. And after that day we then took Maureen back to school. I mentioned her before, she's one of Alfred's nieces, so we get the blessing of going to send her off and encourage her as she goes back into school to prepare for her exams. Another job I'm getting to do at the moment is to start looking at media for individual charities. So for FNKD, our Father's House Ministries and Hope Collective, they're predominantly UK-based sponsorships. So therefore it's looking at how can we communicate the work that's happening in country to the sponsors who are abroad. And I absolutely love it. I got to set up the lads, which is Martin and Silas, which is FNKD and our Father's House Ministries, with their Canva accounts, and we're looking at how they can develop their media presence online. Then me and Lindsay took a trip to Kampala. Like I said, it's been a busy month, a lot of travel. So we headed to Kampala on public transport, which was an experience for Lindsay for the first time, her taking a local bus. But it was a really good journey and we reached safely, which is always great news. And when we got to Kampala, we got to meet up with some friends. My friends Val and Zena, who I know from the city. Val's a professional dancer, and it was really nice to see them again and get to go out and do some dancing. It's always nice going out with a local celebrity to go dancing. It's a lot of fun. Also, I should mention that we had our wonderful friend Peter with us, who, bless his heart, was driving us and looking after us while we were in Ginger. He also got us an amazing deal on a boat trip, which we were just so thankful for. So shout out to Peter, you're an amazing guy and we really appreciate you and what you added to our trip. The reason we went to Kampala was to pick up my friend Bethan as she visited me in country. This was such and is such a blessing. People always say when you go abroad, we'll come visit you, we'll come visit you, we'll come to a holiday and see you. But I understand it's hard to follow through with those promises as ticket prices increase and finances can be unstable, and especially in the UK right now it's a challenging time. But for Bethan to come through with that promise, she actually wrote me an IOU which said about visiting Uganda. She gave this to me over a year ago. I've held on to it and she fulfilled that promise. Also on the way back from Ginger, we stopped by in Kampala again and saw my friend Jimmy. Jimmy is such a wonderful friend and has been an incredible support as I've been going through some challenges recently. So when we went to go see Jimmy at his home, we went to his piggery and found out that they just had new pigs join them that were only 2 hours old. They were adorable, it was amazing. I've never seen pigs that small. And also they had 2-day-old goats, which were precious as well. I love animals and getting to see newborn animals is just so special. And then we went back to Jimmy's house and celebrated with his son. And also in those celebrations, we got to celebrate Bethan for finishing her degree. So we had a great time of celebrating all the joys that God had brought into our lives as a group. And we had a lot of fun. The children really enjoyed. This month I've also been working with FNKD, just doing some fun playtime with the children. It was school holidays this month, so therefore all the centre kids had come back to the centre, so that's those who can't go back into their family homes yet for different reasons. And we just got to go and have fun with them. I took the projector, we watched a lot of movies, we did a lot of paintings. Bethan also brought out some resources with her, so she got to make some bracelets with the girls and just had some really precious time to really just let them enjoy their holidays before they go back into school. Like I said, I've been working with our Father's House Ministries, and as well as doing centre days and things to do with children already within the sponsorship, we also do field work. So that's those children who have either just started with the sponsorship or that are still being identified and seeing where the need is and how the ministry can help. I went to go do a home visit with 2 of the girls who I'm looking to start a mentorship program with within the secondary school, and as I went to go visit them at home, I found out about the desperate situation they're in, how they're carers for their elder brother. Without going into too much detail, the eldest brother has brain damage and therefore needs a lot of one-to-one care and full-time supervision. So I went to go visit him and got to know him, got to know what makes him feel comfortable. I got to work with his grandma to see how she cares for him, which was beautiful to see their connection. And thanks to some sponsors in the UK, I was able to bring out with Bethan some toys to use for rehabilitation and to use for sensory work. And we got to do some simple work of getting him used to these items. My hope there is just to make his life somehow a bit more comfortable, just to show that he's so valued and loved and that we recognise the struggle they're going through. And as we support the sisters in their schooling and do a mentorship with them to help them as they are young carers trying to go through their education, I also wanted to also be a part of the home life there and show that I wanted to support them within the home setting, not just within their education. The This will also be really great, so as I go every week to visit the girls in school, I can reassure them that their older brother's doing well at home, that I've been to visit this week and this is what he did and this is how he's developing. Even within a few sessions, I was seeing massive changes in his behaviour towards me. He could give eye contact, he could touch and hold my hand, things that when we initially met I never thought would be possible. So I'm really hopeful and I'm looking forward to see what God does in that situation. I know he's at work there and there's a reason why God has brought us together in this way. Now this month has been full of like worlds colliding, of my Ugandan friends and my UK friends coming together and getting to know each other. Like when I got to take Bethan to the tailors with Lindsay and show them my incredible tailor who made my graduation dress and get the girls some things made. That was a really precious time. It's a big part of culture in Uganda to have Ugandan garments, so I love being able to facilitate local experiences that are unique to Uganda. We also got to go to Justine's shop and she showed us how to make local beads. And of course, local culture also includes going and playing a lot of pool. If you've ever been to Uganda, you know that pool is a very big game here. So I invited a lot of my friends together one evening and we all played pool together and got to know, and it was a lot of worlds colliding. Many different people, even my Ugandan friends who didn't know each other, I brought them together and there was new friendships made and it was such a blessed time. And then on Sunday I took Bethan to church and we went to All Saints and enjoyed the service there, and then went on to an ordination service at the cathedral where my friend Hans was being ordained. So he's now Reverend Hans and we had the most wonderful time celebrating with him as he received that honour and stepped out into his next phase of ministry. And of course we had to take a trip to the lakes because it's one of the best places I've ever known in the world. So we went there, played some football. This island on Lake Bunyoni has really become like a second home to me. I love going there. I feel the peace of God overwhelm me, and I've made some really great friends there. The staff are not just staff anymore, they're my friends, so getting to see them and spend time with them and play football with them is such a joy, and I was so glad to introduce Lindsay and Bethan into that. So after Lake Bunyoni we came back to Rukungiri where we said goodbye to Lindsay, who was going back to the UK after her 2 months in Uganda, and then me and Bethan carried on our travels and went over to Kasoro. So Kasoro is further down between the borders of Rwanda, Congo and Uganda, really close to the borders. We went there with Martin as it's his hometown, and we went to go do some ministry of our Father's House Ministries. As we went there we were welcomed into Martin's home and we stayed with his mother, and it's a completely different experience, and it's the experience I always want people who are visiting Uganda to have. Not just staying in hotels and seeing the tourist destinations, but living in with a Ugandan family and being a part of that life and what comes with that. Evenings by the fire, sharing stories, early morning meals together as a family. I'm so thankful to Martin for bringing us into that and introducing us to his family. We felt so loved and appreciated. We had an amazing time with his younger sister Doreen, who had a brand new baby called Dylan, and she came and did ministry with us and did outreach with us. I was completely amazed by Doreen. I asked her, what made you want to become a social worker like your older brother, as Martin's the oldest brother in the family? And she said, I just watched him thrive and saw the work he did, and I knew I had to follow in his footsteps. It really encouraged me to see what God's doing in people's lives out here, the way they're starting charities in their communities, that they're providing the outreach to their local families. I just think it's a wonderful model that we can all follow in whichever country we're in, to see the need very close to home, to see where our mission field is when we're in our hometowns. I was very inspired by them. There's a school that's been established within the last year called the Emily Collins School, so we went to go do a visit and see the children that are thriving there and to meet the staff. I was completely amazed by the whole experience. When we were at the school, we got to speak to the sponsorship guardians, so those children who are in the school under sponsorships. We called together all their guardians and gave a little talk. As Martin was coming back, he's the director of the school and also the director of the charity, the sponsorship charity. So he came and did a talk to update them of what's going on, how a few of the sponsorships have had to drop, so therefore it was looking at a way forward until they get new sponsors in. And it was amazing to see how he communicates so well to make them feel empowered by what he's saying and not worried or fearful of the future. I also was really encouraged that he asked me to speak again about the same sort of things of what it's like in the UK right now, why sponsorships are dropping, why we're losing international support, and that was really encouraging to see their reactions as I encouraged them. And my strapline for talking to them was that God is our sponsor, that we never rely on another human to provide what we need in life. We rely on God, and if one sponsorship goes, we know that God has a plan, that he has a great plan for his children, and therefore something else will come along, and our job is to be faithful and pray and wait on the promises of God. And that was really wonderful to share that message with them. And Bethan then led in a time of prayer and breathing so they could just take a moment of peace as they processed all the information we just shared with them, and as we finished the session together. I was so proud of Bethan as she stepped into that and prayed for this wonderful group of people and encouraged them through the scriptures. So I'm sorry this vlog is a little late. We were traveling back from Kasura at the end of the month, so it just meant that I didn't have time to edit the video, but it's done now, and like I said, we had some really enjoyable moments. It was full of new ministry, exciting change, and the resolution of some hardship. So it was a really good month, and I guess the overwhelming thing that I experienced was friendship this month. I experienced friendship in all different types of ways. My local friends, the way they step out for me and stand with me in my hour of need. Those who became new friends during this season who have encouraged me so much, and those from the UK who have just shown their love and support by either coming to country like Bethan or providing sponsorship for needs of the community, like with providing the sensory toys. I'm just overwhelmed by the friendships that God has established in my life, and I am so thankful for them. I'm looking forward to going back to the lakes again and seeing my friends there and keep developing those friendships in country before I leave in August. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining for this month's update, and I pray you have a really blessed month until I see you again. Okay, bye!